There's a certain kind of ache that comes from growing up in the shadow of comparison. It's not loud. It doesn't scream. It settles quietly in the back of your mind, in the small moments when you try to be proud of yourself and a voice whispers, someone else did it better. For children who are constantly compared to others, love never felt like love. It felt like a scoreboard. Approval was something you earned, not something you received. A good grade wasn't good enough if someone else's was higher. A compliment came with a condition. Why can't you be more like them? At first, you try harder. You study longer, smile wider, run faster. You start chasing that unreachable moment when someone will finally say, "You're enough." But the moment never comes, because comparison is a race with no finish line. The more you run, the more it moves ahead. Psychologists say that when children are compared, they begin to form what's called conditional self-worth. The belief that their value depends on performance, not personhood, that they have to earn love, that being themselves is never quite enough. So they grow up into adults who can't rest, who turn every silence into self-doubt, who measure their joy against other people's timelines, their careers, their relationships, their successes, because that's what they were taught. The happiness isn't something you feel within, it's something you win. Some of them become perfectionists, polishing every detail until it gleams not out of pride, but out of fear. Fear of not being seen, fear of being less. Others go the opposite way. They stop trying. They stop showing up. Because why try when you've already been told you'll never measure up? And yet, both carry the same wound, a quiet exhaustion from constantly comparing themselves to a version of someone they'll never be. The comparisons don't end with childhood. They follow you into classrooms, friendships, relationships. You start to feel small next to people who seem brighter, louder, more confident. You shrink a little in every room. You hide parts of yourself that don't feel impressive enough. And when someone praises you, you can't fully believe it. Because that old script plays again. They're just being nice. Someone else could do it better. It's a subtle kind of self-sabotage, one that doesn't destroy you all at once. It wears you down slowly. Every time you compare, you lose a little bit of peace. Every time you look at someone else's light, you forget that yours exists too. But here's the truth. Comparison was never about you. It was about the people who didn't know how to love without conditions. They thought pressure created excellence. They didn't realize it creates emptiness. Children don't need to be told who to outshine. They need to be told who they are and that it's enough. Healing from that kind of upbringing isn't loud either. It starts quietly with a new kind of sentence. You stop saying, "I'm not as good as them," and you start saying, "I'm growing at my own pace." You stop chasing applause and start seeking alignment. You begin to redefine success not as being better than, but as being truer to. You learn to celebrate others without losing yourself in the process. To see beauty in difference instead of threat. To remind yourself that your journey was never meant to look like anyone else's. There's a certain pace that comes with that. A moment when you stop running the invisible race and finally exhale. When you realize that all along, you were never behind, you were just being delayed by doubt. And maybe that's the quiet redemption of it all. Children who were once compared to everyone else grow up to understand something profound. You don't need to be better than others to be worthy. You just need to be yourself without apology. Because the truth is there's no comparison where there's authenticity. And once you start living as you truly are, the rift finally ends.